Good afternoon and welcome to Maction here on Bobcat TV. From Bob Wren Stadium, it's the Ohio Bobcats and the Bowling Green Falcons alongside Zach Mothersbaugh. My name is Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us for a doubleheader today on a chilly Saturday in Athens, Zach. And if yesterday's game was any indication of what we'll get the rest of the way in this series, we're in for a treat. It was a 5-4 final yesterday. Bowling Green got the victory, but both teams were incredibly competitive throughout the entire game.
Absolutely. It took till the ninth inning, a couple of home runs late in the game for the Bowling Green Falcons, put them on top. But Ohio could have taken that just as easily if they were good down the stretch, or they were as good down the stretch as the Falcons were.
And one of the things that Coach Moore said, the head coach of the Ohio Bobcats, in the Post, an article after the game, Coach Moore was quoted saying, "I told those guys to take it personal how the Falcons were jumping around out there winning the game and things like that. We've got to come back and back better than ever." Now, Ohio played a good game yesterday. There were just moments in that game where Bowling Green had timely hits and had timely pitching. Connor Penrod was outstanding. So we'll see how things go here in game one of our doubleheader today. On the mound for the Ohio Bobcats is the right-hander Mitchell Hammond. His first start of the season, his fourth appearance. He's only thrown 4 innings, 3 runs, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. He's a 6'1", 215-pound right-hander who's in his first season at Ohio after coming over from John A. Logan, a solid junior college program. And he will face off against Sam Seidel, the freshman second baseman who has proved to be very impressive in his first campaign with the Falcons. 5 hits in his last 4 games. We are underway here at Bob Wren Stadium, and a first pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1. Our first pitch time is right at 1 o'clock. 0-1 misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Temperature, our first pitch temperature, Zach, 39 degrees. It's pretty chilly here.
Yeah, absolutely. And yesterday we saw a lot of hit by pitches, stuff like that. That's not going to feel good. I saw one of the players on Bowling Green foul the ball off of his ankle. None of that's going to feel good. They're all going to be a little bit sore today, and it's not fun to play in this weather.
I'll try and get juiced up as the game goes on, as that one hits the lower part of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitting second baseman Sam Seidel. Here's the 2-2, and that one is zapped right back up the box into center field. And Seidel, with his 6th hit in his last 4.5 games, not even through a half of this game. So he's got 6 hits in a small span, and just a freshman. He's the only freshman in the starting lineup for the Falcons.
Yeah, that was just past the outstretched arms of Nick Dolan out there at shortstop. It looked like he might be able to get to it, but that was a rocket up the middle for Seidel.
We'll get to the defensive alignment for Ohio in just a moment. The next batter, Nathan Archer, a check over at first, and Seidel is back sliding safely. In the outfield, left to right, Gideon Antle is in left. A.J. Roush patrols center. Will Sturrock is in right field. The pitch, and Archer pulls back. It's low, 1 ball and no strikes. On the infield, left to right, Colin Kasperbauer, Nick Dolan, Billy Adams, and Alec Patino. So the same defensive alignment. The only change outside of the pitcher is Alex Finney, who is the catcher. Mason Minzy is the DH today. Here's a bunt up the third base line. Tough play. Kasperbauer, he throws wide. Great job by Billy Adams, the freshman, to back up that throw. And Seidel remains at second base, so not a ton of damage, but certainly something cooking here for Bowling Green early with runners at first and second and nobody out.
Yeah, it's looking like the same game that we saw yesterday. This Bowling Green team likes to use their speed, putting bunts down, stealing bases. We saw them have to pick off Seidel on the first attempt, and they're afraid of the speed. They know what they can do. The pitcher, third baseman, first baseman, they're all going to have to be on their toes because this team likes to play small ball.
Bowling Green, 17 steals as a team coming into today in 22 attempts. So absolutely right, Zach. They love to steal and create some issues on the base paths as Kyle Gurney bunts that one foul. Count is 0-1. We're just getting started here at Bob Wren Stadium alongside Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman on Bobcat TV. The Ohio Bobcats trying to get some revenge after a really competitive game yesterday. Bowling Green edged out Ohio by a final count of 5-4. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that settles in on the outside corner for strike two. Well, Mitchell Hammond, as we mentioned, his first start of the season, first year with Ohio, has been really good in his college career at the JUCO level. Last year, a lot of strikeouts, 76 compared to just 18 walks, as the 0-2 is popped up down the first base line, and that is foul. We'll do it again, 0-2.
Gurney ready to swing away after he goes down 0-2. Can't keep bunting, but this team, all they want to do is run around these bases. That's something that Coach mentioned, that he loved their speed, and they're going to use it in every game they play.
Yeah, when we asked Kyle Halleck, the head coach of Bowling Green, what's the greatest strength of this team earlier this week, he said our athleticism and our overall team speed. Here's the 0-2, and this is rocketed high up in the air. Medium range, left center field. It's carrying shy of the warning track, and Gideon Antle makes the catch. The two runners on the bases tag up and advance to second and third. So Gurney is retired for the first out of the inning, and now Bowling Green with two runners in scoring position as Seidel moves to third and Nathan Archer is at second base, and the batter is Nathan Rose, senior third baseman. Corner infielders are in for the Bobcats. First pitch. It just misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. Yesterday, Nathan Rose was 0 for 4 and hit in the 5 spot. Today, he's in the 4 slot. 1-0 misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. Bowling Green comes in 3-8 overall. Snapped a 5-game losing streak yesterday and picked up their first MAC win of the season. Ohio 2-10 to start 2023. Looking for their first MAC win as the 2-0 pinches up and in for ball 3.
Both of these teams have really tough schedules to start out their season. They were both on the road. Bowling Green played number 5 Louisville, and they were able to take a game from them. So these records don't really indicate how good they are or how good they will be in MAC play. We'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely right, Zach, as that's a called strike 3-1. And to your point about that Louisville series, almost took 2 out of 3 against Louisville. The first game of that series, the final score was 2-1. And that's at the time, Louisville ranked 5th in the country. So to get 1 out of 3, still very impressive for Bowling Green, as the 3-1 is tapped back to the pitcher's mound. Easy play for Hammond, and the Bobcats now with an opportunity to escape some early trouble. Runners stay put at second and third, 2 down, and the batter is Adam Follen. That's just what the doctor ordered. All Bowling Green needed there was a hard-hit baseball either towards short, second, fly ball in the outfield. That would have been a sacrifice fly, but right back to the mound. That's exactly what Mitchell Hammond was looking for. Adam Follen scorches this one down the third base line in foul ground. The left fielder, Gideon Antle, makes the catch, straddling the chalk, and Ohio gets out of an early jam. So the Bobcats will bat for the first time today. A.J. Roush, Colin Kasperbauer, Mason Minzy, 1, 2, 3 in the order, due up next. You're watching MACtion on Bobcat TV. To the bottom of the first we go here at Bob Wren Stadium. Game 2 of our 3-game series. Game 1 of our doubleheader today. As we welcome you back to Athens alongside Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman, and this is A.J. Roush, who squares the bunt, pulls back, and it's 0-1. We originally were going to witness 3 games in 3 days this weekend, but due to some possible weather in the forecast tomorrow, the two clubs decided to play 2 games here on this Saturday.
Yeah, it felt like every game was up in the air this weekend. I mean, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. We didn't know if there was going to be rain at all, so happy that it looks like we have a chance to get all 3 of these games in.
1-1 pitch, and Roush bangs it on the ground towards second. Seidel vacuums it up, and that's the first out of the bottom of the first inning. The defense surrounding the starting pitcher, Tyler Hayes, we'll get to him in a moment. Left to right in the outfield, Adam Follen, Nathan Archer, who's an electrifying center fielder. Jack Krause plays right field. Nathan Rose is the third baseman. Ryan Johnston at short. Sam Seidel at second. Leighton Banjoff is the only new player in the lineup besides the pitcher, Tyler Hayes, for Bowling Green. And Kyle Gurney does the catching as the first pitch is roped into right field. Colin Kasperbauer, the fifth-year senior, with a 1-out single to start the to follow up the bottom of the first inning after Roush grounded out.
Kasperbauer was the man for Ohio last year.
Oh, yeah.
Led the team in average, and he looks like he's right back to it. He gives really good at-bats when he gets up there.
Led the team in average. He led the league in average, too. He hit 380. An unbelievable 2022 season. We asked him before the season, what are some things that you maybe emphasized, tried to work on, and get better at during the offseason? As Mason Minzy takes a strike, lower part of the zone, 0-1. He said that he wanted to work on his lower body, really get some strength in those legs. And we joked and said, does that mean you want to hit more home runs? He said, I'll take it if I can. But he said he loves to run the bases. He prefers doubles, triples. He's got great instincts out there on the field. In fact, Craig Moore, the head coach of Ohio, said he's got one of the best instincts on the field.
Yeah, that strength in your legs, it really helps, not just for getting the ball out of the park, but every ball you hit, you want to hit it just a little bit faster. So that ball he hit into the gap between the first and second baseman, maybe that gets gobbled up by the second baseman if there's not as much heat on that. But he shoots it right through the hole, and no one really has a chance on it.
It's a great piece of hitting for Colin Kasperbauer. As Mason Minzy down in the count here, 0-2. DHing in game 1 of our doubleheader, takes low for a ball. Well, you mentioned where Kasperbauer hit that baseball and how he hit it. He really squared that ball up. One thing that Coach Moore told me before the season about Colin is he got pretty unlucky in his first year at Ohio. He transferred from Iowa Western. Every ball he hit was a loud out, which they do track, but it was right at all the different fielders. So it felt like he was squaring everything up, but he was hitting it right at the second baseman, right at the first baseman. And now he's been able to find the open crevices in the field, and it led him to leading the league last year in hitting. 2-2 is fouled off.
Yeah, it's never fun to have those kind of at-bats because you swing at the ball, you feel it hit right in the barrel of your bat, and you're excited to get to first, maybe get to second, and then you realize that you see the fielder standing right there waiting for it, and you got to go back to the dugout. You know, there's nothing that you can really fix off of that at-bat. You're not like, oh, I got to do something different because you felt like you did everything right. You just got out.
2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first, and Minzy taps this one up the first base line, foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good AB here from Mason Minzy, who was the starting catcher yesterday, went 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, very tough day for Minzy yesterday, but getting the pitch count up here for him today and a great at-bat. If that's the least he does, that'll be a great at-bat, even if he gets out.
Minzy started his career at Texas Tech as Kasperbauer retreats back to first base. Played at Texas Tech. He was recruited by Ohio out of high school. Went to Texas Tech, then spent a short season at Wabash Valley before 2022 became the COVID year. There goes Casper Bauer, swung on and foul tipped. So Minzy will continue to fight here in the batter's box. Well, we mentioned him earlier, but Tyler Hayes, he's the starting pitcher for Bowling Green, his 4th start of the season. It's been a struggle so far in 2023, 9.28 ERA, but again, it's also been a gauntlet of a non-conference schedule for the Falcons. 2-2 is up and away, and that pops out of Gurney's mitt, heads towards the back netting, and Casper Bauer's in scoring position.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about Hayes and how he did it best, maybe one of the best freshman seasons in Bowling Green history. He played summer ball at Bo Jackson Elite. This was a guy who was a very high recruit coming into the Falcons program, and he's going to try and prove it today. He didn't have much chance to prove it earlier in his career, besides for that freshman season, so he's going to try and do that throughout the season in the MAC after playing a bunch of tough games.
Yeah, he's a senior now. Here's the 3-2, and Minzy swings through it, strike 3, 2 down. First strikeout for Tyler Hayes, and the next batter is Alec Patino. Well, to that point, you mentioned that outstanding freshman season for Tyler Hayes on the mound. Set a Bowling Green freshman record for strikeouts. He struck out 72 in a season, and then was off to a really good start in his sophomore campaign. In 2020, 4 starts, a 1.66 ERA, and then COVID hit. And then 2021, he suffered a season-ending back injury and then only appeared once in 2022. So, you know, it's just tough. And you have to fight through that adversity. And now he's trying to get back on track in his 5th year at Bowling Green. Alec Patino is looking pretty right now in the batter's box with a 2-ball, no-strike count. Patino hit not 1, but 2 homers in his first game at Bob Wren Stadium. The transfer from Iowa Western, a junior first baseman. Here's the 2-0, and Patino scorches it foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. What'd you think of Alec Patino yesterday?
Yeah, it looks like it's coming in as a beach ball instead of a baseball to him right now. He's seen everything, even in that at bat. He scorches it out. He was just a little early on it. But we also had that wind coming out to right center field, and I think all of our homers yesterday were by lefties that were pulled out to right field. So Patino took advantage of that, but he's been squaring a lot of balls up.
2-1 pitch is fouled off, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Coach Moore was asked post-game in the article that I referenced earlier in the Post and talked about Alec Patino and how he said that it's a huge addition to have Alec in the middle of our lineup. He had 2 good swings yesterday, and he's definitely a guy that can generate offense for us. 2-2 is down and away, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Looks like Tyler Hayes has a slider, maybe a cutter that he's depending on a lot. I think that's what got A.J. Roush out early. You saw he swung a little bit late at that ball. He kind of just flailed at it because he didn't think it was going to be a strike. He sees it coming over the zone, and he's thrown that a lot. That's been an attempt to go on your screen left to right.
3-2 pitch is fair down the right field line. It just sneaks in. Casper Bauer will score, and Alec Patino scorching hot to start this weekend here in Athens. His 3rd hit of the series, and he's got 4 RBIs so far. It's 1-0 Bobcats here in the first.
We just talked about Patino being all over the ball, his ability to generate offense, and he does it again right there. He took that pitch that I was just talking about right over the first baseman, stayed right down the line, fair. He was able to get to second and put an RBI in for the Bobcats.
Got a great swing, too. Next batter is Will Sturrock, and he takes a strike. Well, if you look at Alec Patino, he doesn't look like the everyday cleanup hitter. He's only 5'11", 170 pounds. It's not like, you know, he's that Albert Pujols type of presence in the batter's box, Barry Bonds, what have you. He's only 5'11", 170, but he's got some sneaky power and great bat speed in that 4 spot for Craig Moore.
He's very good at getting the hands to the ball to put that one in play, and you saw it multiple times so far today and yesterday. So that he doesn't have to be the big guy. It's about generating offense, as Coach Moore talked about. It's about putting the ball in play and getting it down to score runners. He's standing at second right now.
And his first season with Ohio after putting together a great couple of seasons at Iowa Western, which we talked about yesterday, is pipeline to Ohio. 0-2 is looped in the air, shallow right field. That's down for a base hit. Patino rounds third. Here comes the throw from the right fielder, Kraus. That is late, and Ohio leads 2-0. It's an RBI single for Will Sturrock.
Bobcats doing a great job at just getting the bat on the ball so far. Not much has even gone past the outfielders. Everything's been dropped in front of them. A couple of singles, a double out there by Patino down the right field line. But they've been just doing a great job at getting the runners on it and getting them home.
Gideon Antle, who was the leadoff hitter yesterday, squares to bunt. Beautiful drag bunt up the third baseline. Maybe a little bit too hard. We'll see. Nope. It's a beautiful one. And he's safe up the first baseline. And the Bobcats have runners at first and second with 2 outs. That was a crafty drag bunt from Gideon Antle, who has incredible speed. That's going to go down as a bunt single. So 3 straight hits for the Bobcats with 2 outs.
They are in business. Just when you thought that those 2 outs might be looking at the end of the inning, they were able to string together 3 hits. They're keeping the line moving, and Tyler Hayes is having a tough time. Even though that was just a bunt, not too much he could do about that. It was a perfect bunt, though. But he's going to have to stay out here and keep pitching. His pitch count's going to keep going up.
Alex Finney, the senior catcher, stands in 0-1. Tyler Hayes, the pitcher for Bowling Green, comes in with a 9.28 ERA. 10 2/3 innings, 11 earned runs, 10 walks, 14 strikeouts. And a double steal. Here comes Gurney's throw to third. And it is in time. It also looked like Sturrock maybe slid away from the third base bag, and that's where the tag was applied by Nathan Rose. So that'll end the bottom of the first inning, but not before Ohio strikes first. An RBI double from Alec Patino and an RBI single off the bat of Will Sturrock. 2-0 Bobcats in Game 2 of our 3-game series. We go to the second inning after this on Bobcat TV. Top of the second inning we go here at Bob Wren Stadium. Alongside Zach Mothersbaugh, I'm Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us on Bobcat TV. Ohio leads 2-0 early in Game 1 of our doubleheader today as the first pitch, top of the strike zone there for Mitchell Hammond. 0-1, facing Tyler Ross, the designated hitter. This is rolled over towards third. Casper Bauer backs up a couple of steps, now fires to first, and that trickles away from Alec Patino. So Ross is safe at first base. It was a tough couple of hops. Casper Bauer over at third had to back up 1 or 2 steps and threw off balance. It's going to go down as an error. And it's an error on Colin Casper Bauer. That has been one area that Craig Moore has been a little frustrated with early this season, is the number of errors. They did limit those last weekend despite getting swept by Southern Illinois. Only committed 3 errors in that series after committing 9 errors in the previous series at Western Kentucky.
Yeah, and errors are one of those things that always comes back to bite you, but we were just talking about the speed of this Bowling Green team in the first inning, and you see Jack Krause already squaring up to bunt. You can't let these guys get on base, and that was really the downfall of the Bobcats in yesterday's game, was a couple of errors. A pickoff error that allowed 2 guys to score, and that was really the difference in the game yesterday. You got to be very solid in the field, and here's a bunt right here. See if you can get him out.
And it's a little too late on the throw, so Jack Krause is safe. And Bowling Green has runners at first and second, nobody out here in the top of the second inning.
This team loves to run, and as long as they're on the bases, they're going to keep doing the same thing. See if they can't get another second and third situation for them again, because it's unlikely that they're unable to score 2 times with a guy on second and third and less than 2 outs. So you got to make sure that you're solid in the field and solid on the mound, because if these guys keep getting on bases, they're going to keep running all over the place.
Leighton Banjoff, the senior first baseman, will step to the plate. He did not play in the series opener yesterday. Nebraska transfer comes into today's game hitting .200 on the season, 6 for 30 in 10 starts. Corner infielders are in. Ohio jumped out to a 2-0 advantage in the bottom of the first inning, and now Bowling Green knocking on the door as Banjoff squares to bunt and dribbles it towards the third base side. Hammond throws to first. This time it is in time, and the sacrifice works for Bowling Green. Runners at second and third. Ross up to third. Krause is at second, and the batter is Ryan Johnston, the senior shortstop, out of the 9 spot.
Last time for Hammond in this situation, there was a ground ball right back to him. He was able to hold the guy on third and make the out at first to get to 2 outs, and then a pop fly under the inning. We'll see if he can keep everything light on the ground today, and see if he can strike him out to see if he can get 2 outs with these guys remaining where they're at.
First pitch misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, that was a really tricky beginning to the ball game for Mitchell Hammond, Ohio's starter, giving up those 2 singles, but escaped. Now has to do the same here in the second inning. 1-0 is a bunted foul.
Down 2-0, the Falcons got to feel like they're really just in it. They're so close to scoring last inning, and they're right in the same spot this inning. They're going to try and do another suicide squeeze. They were able to execute that perfectly yesterday. See if they can't try it again.
Not afraid to bunt either with a runner at third base. A possible squeeze could be in the cards for Ryan Johnston. Patino really creeping up over as the first baseman as Johnston waves through and misses, and that's strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That suicide squeeze, it's a tough thing to show the defense that you're going to do it and then try it again. So I'm guessing that coach told him you got 1 shot. If you can put it on the ground, we'll see if we can score a run. And if you can't, you're going to swing away, because once the pitcher knows about it, once the third baseman know about it, they're going to come charging in.
1-2, and that scoots beneath the catcher, Finney. A run will score, and Bowling Green's on the board, 2-1. So Mitchell Hammond with a wild pitch allows Tyler Ross to come across. Krause advances to third. That's a tough situation for Ohio.
Yep, now a guy on third, less than 2 outs with a chance to tie it for the Falcons here if Ryan Johnson can come through at the plate.
Only 1 out. Here's the 2-2. And this is scorched underneath Casper Bauer's mitt, and a run scores as we are tied at 2. Ryan Johnston delivers with an RBI single.
We can hear the Falcons celebrating in their dugout from here. You talked about that earlier in the game, that Coach Moore wanted the Bobcats to take it personal when they did that kind of stuff. But this team just loves to have fun. They love to run around the bases. They love to celebrate in the dugout, and they're really together, and that's how you win games, it seems like, in this situation.
Back to the top of the order, Sam Seidel. Seidel singled his first time up, the freshman second baseman. He batted in the 2 spot yesterday, moved up to the leadoff spot today. And Seidel takes on the outside corner. That is strike 1. Seidel coming into this game hitting .400. He's only played in 8 games, but 6 for 15 at the plate coming into today, and already with a hit today. The 0-1 popped up and out of play, 0-2. We are tied at 2 here at Bob Wren Stadium, game 1 of our doubleheader today. 2 9-inning games. We had originally planned to play the series finale tomorrow, but with impending weather, I actually just checked the weather, and there might be some snow on the way tomorrow.
Yeah, but they had to get out of the way of that. It's already cold enough so far today. I don't think that any of these guys are going to want to play in the snow tomorrow.
Mitchell Hammond has got to dig deep here on the mound. Still only 1 out. 0-2 pitch is low. A delayed steal. Johnston rushes down the baseline, and he's in there safely. A stolen base for Ryan Johnston. That is his second swipe of the season.
That's what this team's good at, and they're going to keep doing it all day. It ended up hurting the Bobcats yesterday, and they're going to try and do it again, see if they can't get a third run down in this inning, because it just takes 1 single to get Johnston home, now less than a single to get Johnston home.
And Hammond, with his second wild pitch of the inning, allows Johnston to advance to third base. So this has gotten a little out of hand here for the Bobcats. A couple of wild pitches, an error, all in this top of the second inning, and that's going to bring first-year assistant coach who primarily works with the pitching staff, Tim Brown, out to the mound.
Looks like there's nobody warming in the bullpen, and I'm not sure I'd expect anybody to be warming in the bullpen this early. This is just a chance to let Hammond catch his breath, to let him just think about it a little bit and relax, because after all this kind of stuff happens, you're a little on edge as a pitcher, and you can't have your pitcher on edge because they're part of the game every single pitch, and if they start making mistakes like pass balls, it's going to start hurting you a lot. So see if he can take a deep breath, relax on the mound, talk to his coach and his catcher a little bit, and get back into this game.
Yeah, Tim Brown trying to calm down Hammond here, the first-year assistant coach. Previously was an assistant coach for Eastern Illinois, where he worked primarily with the pitching staff. Also has ties with Eastern Illinois, as I mentioned, South Carolina Upstate, Mount St. Mary's. Good resume. Seidel fights that one off. Good at bat. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes with still only 1 out here in the top of the second inning.
This is the guy that, as you mentioned, in a small sample size so far this season, he's got a .400 average, a .500 on-base percentage. So with a guy on third, this is one of the guys that you're going to trust, and that's why they put him in leadoff.
2-2 offering is inside. Full count, 3-2. Bobcats trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Bowling Green responded immediately here in the top of the second. Payoff pitch is whacked foul up the first base line. Ohio comes into this season projected 6th in the MAC preseason poll, coming off a 29-win campaign in 2022, 29-24, 21-15 in MAC play. Really good record at home, 16-5. 3-2 is outside, ball 4. And That's the second time Seidel has reached base. And here comes the very dangerous number 2 hitter, Nathan Archer.
Archer up here at the plate. He was the 2021 Lorain County Mr. Baseball when he was in high school, and the man on third, or the Leighton Banjoff, a guy who was hitting earlier in this game, was a 2019 Lorain County Mr. Baseball. So this team, we talked about it with Hayes, this is a great recruiting team. They get a lot of really good talent in here, and you can see it paying off with all these guys' accolades in high school.
And that has translated over to the college level. Nathan Archer had an incredible an incredible freshman season. He's only a sophomore this year. 0-1 pitch, and that one is hammered in the air to center field. Playable, though, for A.J. Roush. He makes the catch. Runner will tag from third. Ryan Johnston scores, and Bowling Green leads 3-2. There are 2 down in the top of the second inning. So, productive baseball, productive out there for Archer. Sac fly RBI. Seidel remains at second base. We talked to Kyle Halleck earlier this week and asked him about Nathan Archer. Said, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Nathan? And he said, he's a difference maker. He's a next level talent. He'll be playing in the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer with the YD Red Sox. He's fast too. He not only can he hit, he can really play center field. He runs a 6'4", 60-yard dash.
Yeah, he's what a lot of scouts like to call a 5-tool player. The ability to hit, the ability to run, and the ability to field, and everything that you want somebody to be able to do on the baseball field, Archer can do it.
Made a heck of a play in center field yesterday. At the wall, robbed Billy Adams of possible home run, possible extra bases. 1-1 is low for ball 2. 2-1 on Kyle Gurney, senior catcher.
Gurney, the 7th man to hit, come to the plate for the Bowling Green Falcons in this inning. They're doing a great job just getting people up to the plate.
2-1 pitch is low, 3 balls and 1 strike, and there appears to be some activity down the left field line for Ohio. A couple of guys starting to stretch.
Yeah, we talked about Hammond before and how he'd only pitched 4 innings so far in this game. He doesn't have a start all season. It's so much different from what he's used to coming into this season, not starting a game so far in this one. It's tough to do. I'm not sure if they knew how long he was going to go, because he might not be a starting kind of guy, a guy that's going to go 5-6 innings. He might have just been an opener, so kind of a bullpen guy who's going to come in and pitch 2 or 3 innings. And struggling so far earlier in this game, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter leash to take him out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Already 2 walks here in the second inning for Mitchell Hammond. Nathan Rose at the plate, the senior third baseman. There goes both runners. Throw down from Finney is in time. So Kyle Gurney caught stealing Bowling Green. Wow, they really love to turn on that green light quite a bit. Falcons get 3 runs in the second frame and take a 3-2 lead heading into the bottom of the second. We'll be back in just a moment on Bobcat TV. Heading to the bottom of the second inning at Bob Wren Stadium. A chilly Saturday for baseball here in the MAC alongside Zach Mothersbaugh. My name is Sam Hyman. Bobcats jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Bowling Green responded with 3 runs of their own as the first pitch hits the outer corner for strike 1 to Alex Finney. Ohio's going to have to utilize that offense quite a bit today, Zach, after a tough outing on the mound so far for Mitchell Hammond.
Yeah, we'll see if Hammond comes back out for the third inning, but they've got a little bit of work to do, down just 1 because they had a good bottom of the first inning. Seems like it's going to be a bit of an offensive game here today, maybe a little bit more than yesterday.
Finney fouls that one back, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Although not if Tyler Hayes has anything to say about it so far for the Bobcats.
Yeah, we'll see if those 3 runs from the Bowling Green offense sort of mentally shifted Tyler Hayes' mindset. He really had a rocky first frame. 1-2 misses outside, 2-2. Gave up 4 hits in the first inning. Alec Patino with an RBI double. Will Sturrock RBI single. The 2-2 to Finney, and that's way outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Long innings are great for you mentally for Tyler Hayes, so that you can sit down and have a little bit of time to relax from that inning. But it is very cold outside, so those long half innings where you're on the bench, you might get a little cold, arm might get a little cold, and that might be what's happening to him right now. He's missed pretty bad a couple of times.
And that is a walk. It's actually the first walk by Bowling Green pitching in this series. Falcons did not walk a batter yesterday. Gage Shank, 5 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks. Connor Penrod, 3 1/3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 0 walks.
Just 1 walk for either team, and it was Jack Krause that took it. So not a lot of free bases except for the hit by pitches in yesterday's game.
A game that lasted 1 hour and 52 minutes. I mean, you blinked and you missed that game. It was incredibly fast pace. As this one is shot from Billy Adams into center field, and the freshman second baseman has a single. First and second, nobody out for Ohio, and the next batter is Nick Dolan.
A lot of singles and walks really so far for both teams in this game. Now a man on first and second for the Bobcats, and they're already back in business. See if they can get back into this one or even take the lead.
Nick Dolan, the redshirt sophomore shortstop, steps to the plate looking for his first hit of the series. Game 2 of 3 this weekend from Bob Wren Stadium. Dolan squares to bunt. 1 ball and no strikes to the shortstop. Bobcats will be back home next weekend against a very tough Central Michigan team. The Chippewas are the 3-time defending MAC tournament champions. So Ohio has its hands full in its first 2 MAC series, but both are at home. As Dolan bunts this one up in the air and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Seems like it's going to be just a lot of tough games. They had a tough earlier season, as we already talked about, and now a tough MAC stretch for them. But it's good to start that early season with that. You get a little battle tested early in the season so that down the stretch in the MAC and maybe in the MAC tournament, if they're able to make it, they can look back on these games and use that.
Look at Hayes. A bare hand stab fire to first in time. My goodness. He was off balance and then some and found a way to control his mood and get the ball over to first. So the sack bunt moves the runners over to second and third. Finney at third, Adams at second. Dolan nearly got to first base safely. Instead, there's 1 out for the top of the order, A.J. Roush.
My goodness is right. Talk about fielding your own position for Tyler Hayes right there. That was a great bunt, and he was able to throw, as you said, off balance, off 1 foot, a strike to first base. You don't see that often from the pitcher. That was a great play.
A.J. Roush takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. Ohio with a chance to get right back on top after absorbing 3 runs the last half inning. Roush, the redshirt sophomore center fielder, played the corner outfield positions last year, moved to center field this season with the departure of Isaiah Peterson. Ohio lost 3 of their top 5 hitters when you look at the batting average in totality from a season ago. Isaiah Peterson, Michael Richardson, and Spencer Harper. 2-0, breaking ball, settles right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike.
This is the third time in 4 half innings that we've had a first and second and third and just 1 out. A lot of runs are going to be scored in this game, it seems like, just from what we've seen so far early.
2-1 misses outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. A.J. Roush, 0 for 1 today. Grew up in the Columbus area, went to Olentangy Liberty, which is a very competitive high school. 3-1 is upstairs, ball 4, and the bases are loaded for the Bobcats here in the bottom of the 2nd inning for Colin Kasperbauer.
This is exactly the guy you want in this situation for the Bobcats, and Colin Kasperbauer. Talked ad nauseum about him in his last at-bat, his ability to square the ball up, and everything he's done to be a great hitter. Coach Craig Moore just raves about how good he is at the plate. With the bases loaded and 1 out, I can't think of a better guy for the Bobcats to have up at the plate.
Time is called, and we'll get a mound visit here from the entire infield with the bases loaded. We'd like to thank those of you for joining us here on a chilly Saturday at Bob Wren Stadium in Athens, Ohio. Temperature is 40 degrees on March 11th. It was warmer in February than it's been in March. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that's what's supposed to happen on a year-to-year basis, but it is Ohio, and I guess that kind of stuff just happens whenever it wants to.
You've been in Ohio longer than I have. Was February colder or warmer last year than March?
I don't quite remember exactly last year, but I wouldn't be shocked, because that's the kind of stuff that happens up here in Ohio.
Colin Kasperbauer with business to take care of in the lefty batter's box. Singled his first time up. After the mound visit, here's the 1-0 pitch, and Kasperbauer shoots it down the left field line, and it's drifting foul into the Ohio bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Colin Kasperbauer had a lot of great things to say about his hitting coach, Kirby McGuire. Told me before the season that Kirby is the best hitting coach in the MAC, and I asked Colin why. Why is he the best? Here's the 1-1. And that is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. He went on to say Kirby knows what our approach is supposed to be in every at-bat. And also he emphasized the level of drills that the offense and hitters really focus on during practice, saying that it really translates over to the game. 2-1 is pulled towards the first baseman. Picked up by Banjoff, throws to second. It's late. Everybody's safe. And Finney scores to tie this game at 3 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that might have hit A.J. Roush on the back of the foot. The throw from first to second. It was attempted at a double play there by Leighton Banjoff. He got the ball, tried to flip it, tried to go to second with it, and I think he put it in the dirt or in the turf here at Bob Wren Stadium. And I think that bounced off the back of A.J. Roush's foot, so the fielder wasn't able to take advantage of it.
Kasperbauer reaches on a fielder's choice. Next batter, Mason Minzy. So the bases are still loaded. Billy Adams at third, A.J. Roush at second, and Colin Kasperbauer at first. There also is an error on the first baseman there, Leighton Banjoff, in addition to Kasperbauer reaching on the fielder's choice. Two balls and no strikes to Mason Minzy, looking for his first hit of the series. The pitch. That's low, 3 balls and no strikes. Well, Tyler Hayes, who was hand-wrapped a 3-run second inning, had his team up 3-2 as he entered this frame, and it has been a tough time for him here. 3-0, up and in. That's a 4-pitch walk, and Ohio reclaims the lead 4-3, and I think that's going to be it for Tyler Hayes.
Yep, looks like Bowling Green has somebody coming in from the bullpen.
Yeah, so we'll tell you all about that new reliever when we come back, as Hayes bounced from this game early. He can't get through the second inning. There's still only one out, and the bases are still loaded. We'll be back in a moment to resume the second after this on Bobcat TV. New pitcher for the Bowling Green Falcons. It is the 6'5" southpaw Rigo Ramos, who takes over in a tough situation. The bases are loaded with only one out, and maybe the most dangerous hitter in this series, Alec Patino, waltzes into the lefty batter's box. Zach, this is going to be a very interesting matchup, left on left. Two really good guys, both on the mound and at the plate.
Yeah, that might be why they brought Ramos in this situation to go to the lefty to face Alec Patino, because he's done so much damage so far in this series.
And that's a first pitch strike, 0-1. Rigo Ramos comes in with a 4.50 ERA, 8 innings, 10 strikeouts, 9 walks for a guy who led the team with a 3.92 ERA 2 seasons ago. Didn't play last season. 0-1, and Patino knocks it back foul, 0-2.
We were talking about it during the break between the pitching change, but we talked about how Tyler Hayes was a great prospect coming out of high school, played for Bo Jackson Elite. It's the same thing for Rigo Ramos. He played travel ball for Bo Jackson Elite, so two straight guys who really had all of the talent in the world in high school. We'll see how they perform so far. 0-2 count so far for Ramos, and it's going to stay that way with the foul ball off to the left side.
Bases are loaded, 1 out. A.J. Roush at third, Colin Kasperbauer at second, Mason Minzy at first. The 0-2 is outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Bo Jackson Elite, an elite travel organization at each level, from 8 under all the way up to 18 under. 18U. 1-2, popped up. Third base side, drifting out of play. If that fence wasn't there, Ethan Rose may have had a chance to make that catch. It was up there for quite some time.
Yeah, we talked about how speedy this team is, and Rose was definitely getting out there. He just ran into a wall.
One ball and 2 strikes to Alec Patino. He doubled his first time up. Breaking ball. Patino doesn't bite. What an at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the junior first baseman who has 4 RBIs already in this series. 2 homers yesterday and an RBI double today. The 2-2 pitch, and Patino knocks it back foul.
Tough at-bats for everybody so far in this game. Patino is no exception. He's done really great at the plate, and this time Ramos comes in out of the bullpen, first batter, and he's got to throw a lot of pitches.
Yeah, Patino really making him work here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The southpaw readies. And the 2-2 is lifted high in the air, left center field. Archer maneuvers over, makes the catch. Roush tags from third. He'll score easily. And a productive out for Alec Patino, his 5th RBI of the series. And the Bobcats lead 5-3 here in the second inning. Casper Bauer tagged up on the play as well, so he's at third. Runners at first and third with 2 outs for Will Sturrock.
Great job matching that 3-run top of the second with a 3-run bottom of the second for Ohio, and they're back up to where they were at the end of the first inning.
That pitch misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Will Sturrock, 5th-year senior, right fielder today for the Bobcats. RBI single his first time up. 1-0 misses high, 2 balls and no strikes.
Sturrock now the 8th batter so far for the Bobcats in this inning, so they really have matched that previous inning for the Bowling Green Falcons.
Check over at first. Minzy dives back safely. Rigo Ramos, familiar with these Bobcats 2 years ago, pitched 7 innings in a game against Ohio on March 21st. That was his first win of the season. Did not appear in a game last year, though, for Bowling Green. Another check over at first.
Two outs and a 3-0 count. He might be just taking a little bit of time off with that pickoff right there before he has to throw his next pitch.
And that misses high, ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. And I'll bring up Gideon Antle, the junior left fielder.
And we've now officially gone through the entire Bobcats order here in the second inning. With the bases loaded, 2 outs here for Ramos.
And that misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes to Gideon Antle. A bunt single his first time up. Craig Moore had a lot of positive things to say about Gideon Antle in his first season with Ohio. A guy that goes at 100 miles an hour every single time. Here he knocks this one through the left side, a base hit. Casper Bauer scores. Here comes Minzy, and it's a 2-run single for Gideon Antle. Ohio's batted around in the second inning, and they lead at 7-3.
Heck of a job there by Antle getting it just past the third baseman, and that's all you want to do here with the bases loaded, to just keep the line moving. Now 2 guys on with 2 outs after that 2-run single.
Alex Finney at the plate for Ohio. And he takes low part of the zone for a called strike, 0-1. Finney walked to begin this inning. Pickoff attempt to second. No problem for Sturrock to get back.
First one of those 5 runs was Alex Finney after that walk, after he came all the way around the bases to score. See if he can get on base again here.
And Ramos spikes that one in the turf. A wild pitch allows Sturrock to move to third, and Antle moves to second. 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. As we have nearly played an hour of baseball, we're still only in the second.
Yeah, not quite the same game as yesterday. Doesn't seem like it was. It's been too much easier for Ramos as it was for Tyler Hayes, the pitcher before him.
1-1 pitch, and this one is smashed high in the air to left center field. It'll one-hop the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Antle, and how about it for Alex Finney? A 2-run double, and Ohio has absolutely exploded here in the second inning. 9-3 Bobcats.
7-run inning is not something you see so often in any level of baseball, but the Bobcats are doing it right here. It looks like they're all over every pitcher because there was a pitching change earlier in this inning, so it's not just that they're piling on one pitcher. It was a righty to a lefty. Bowling Green has tried everything they can do to switch it up on the Bobcats, but nothing seems to be working so far here in the bottom of the second.
Billy Adams at the plate, fouls that one off. Freshman second baseman.
Adams also singled earlier in this inning and came around to score.
Breaking ball misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bobcats looking to snap a 5-game losing streak right now, in position to do so. Still very early in this game. One is zapped through the right side. The hit parade continues. Throw to the plate is offline. Finney scores, and that is a 10 spot on the scoreboard for the Bobcats. Billy Adams with his second hit of the inning. An 8-run second inning for Ohio.
And they're having a lot of fun down there in that bullpen, knowing that they're all very confident when they come up to the plate after Billy Adams hits that single, and now he advances to second off the throw to home that got past the catcher. So another guy in scoring position here for the Bobcats if Nick Dolan can keep it going.
Dolan dropped down a sac bunt his first time up, swings through and misses for strike 1. Well, it's an Ohio team that came into the series really struggling defensively and on the mound, giving up 9.5 runs a game through their first 11 contests. The offense has been very solid through the first 10 games or so of the season. It's just been the errors, the pitching, and right now, a lot of run support for Mitchell Hammond and the bullpen the rest of the way. This is popped up and foul on the third base side. It's one thing that Craig Moore emphasized to us earlier this week. He's a big believer in pitching and defense and said that is what we have done to win championships in the past. Go back to the most recent MAC tournament championship for Ohio, 2017, an incredible run as the 5 seed. Check swing. Catcher Gurney throws to first, and that will retire the side, but not before an 8-run second inning for Ohio. It's 10-3, and we're just moving to the third. After this, you're watching MACtion on Bobcat TV. As we welcome you back to Bob Wren Stadium. What a frame for the Bobcats. They put up 8 runs in the second inning and a 10-3 lead now. Plenty of run support for Ohio pitching. And Mitchell Hammond, who remains out there. He's thrown 44 pitches. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh, I'm Sam Hyman.
See how long Hammond lasts in this one. If the Bobcats really feel like he is a starter for their team, they might keep him out here a little longer, as that one is roll onto the shortstop and a quick out here for Hammond in top half of the third inning. But I expected almost, if they feel like he was a reliever, that they would take him out after a really long inning. He's been sitting in that dugout for a long time, the perfect time to yank him. But if they really do believe that he's a starter and he can pitch for a lot of innings and throw a lot of pitches, I guess this is why you'd send him back out there.
Next batter is Adam Follen. First time Hammond has retired the first batter of an inning. So that's a positive sign. Follen 0 for 1 today. He hit 2 homers yesterday. His second home run of the game was the winning run, as this is bounced up the third base line and just foul.
Follen, another one of those lefties that was taking maybe a little bit of advantage of the wind, although he did get big contact on both of those home runs, but both of them sent out to right field. And he was able to give his team, or tie it up, I think, in the 7th, and then give his team the lead in the 9th. Big part of that win yesterday.
The 0-2 pitch is upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, looking at Adam Follen's career numbers at Bowling Green, he had only hit 3 homers in his entire career. He's a senior. He's got 5 career home runs. 2 of them came yesterday.
Must have felt really good for Follen as he shoots one through the gap between the shortstop and the third baseman. Must have felt really, really good for him to see both of those baseballs leave the park because, as you said, that's not something that he's done so far through his career at Bowling Green.
So Follen with a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Tyler Ross, the senior designated hitter. And that misses upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. 10-3 lead for Ohio, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. And it's upstairs again, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Head coach of the Bobcats, Craig Moore, in his 3rd season. Spent 8 seasons as an assistant coach under Rob Smith. He's had quite the journey, 2 years as an assistant at Creighton. 2-0 is right down the middle for a called strike. Also was a junior college head coach at Western Texas College from 2006 to 2010 and really turned that program around. 2-1 pitches swung on and missed. Ross now with a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
A lot of junior colleges you see when you watch these two teams play. A lot of these players went to junior college. I talked about Coach Moore, who went to a JUCO school. Very important for them to get that kind of training and get used to the game early on.
Yeah, a lot of guys on this Ohio roster. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but Colin Kasperbauer shared with us before the season that, he felt like those 2 years at Iowa Western were the most important 2 years of his life. So that seems like it's beyond just baseball, just in terms of growing and maturing as a young man. 2-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. And that is out number 2 in the top of the 3rd inning, and it'll bring up the number 7 hitter, Jack Krause.
And talking about Kasperbauer, you said those are the 2 most important years of his life. He said that he wasn't sure that he was ready to go D1 right out of high school, and that's why JUCO is so important for so many of these players, because it just gets them more accustomed to a game that's a little bit higher, and Kasperbauer obviously doing a fantastic job here at D1 right now.
Yeah, Colin Kasperbauer was a part of an Iowa Western team that made the a runner-up in the national championship game a couple of years ago. 2 balls and no strikes to Jack Krause, the senior right fielder. Mitchell Hammond delivers. It's popped up left side, and that drifts foul. 2 balls and 1 strike. And we talked about this earlier just briefly, but Ohio's trying to get back to a point where they can compete for a MAC championship. Maybe this year's the year. Their last MAC tournament championship was 2017, as this is fouled up the first base line. They were a 5 seed and won a 3-run game, a 1-run game, a 2-run game. The championship game against Eastern Michigan that season, Ohio was down 4-1 after 7 innings and then scored 6 runs in the 8th, led by a Ty Black 3-run homer, which ultimately won the game, as that is strike 3 on Jack Krause. And what a bounce-back inning for Mitchell Hammond, as he does not allow a run and picks up his first 2 strikeouts. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning after this. Ohio in the driver's seat, leading 10-3 on Bobcat TV. Top of the order for Ohio as we start the home half of the 3rd inning. Alongside Zach Mothersbaugh, I'm Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us on Bobcat TV. A.J. Roush leads it off for the Bobcats and takes on the outside corner strike 1. Arrigo Ramos back out there on the mound. He came in during the middle of the 2nd inning. 6'5" southpaw. Roush takes low. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. A.J. Roush, a redshirt sophomore, 5'11", 195 pounds from Powell, Ohio. And Ohio University is sprinkled all over his family, for the most part. His parents, sisters, some cousins, they all went to Ohio. So, right, easy choice for A.J. Roush to decide to come to Athens. This is whacked on the ground towards 3rd. Easy play for Nathan Rose, and that is the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I'm sure he got pretty used to the campus and not much thought that came into it. I'm sure he told his parents that he got an offer to play baseball at Ohio University, and that was about the end of the conversation from them, as they were like, if you want it, take it.
Went to Olentangy Liberty High School. Next batter is Colin Kasperbauer, and this ball is drilled high in the air to center field, right at Nathan Archer, though, and quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
A little bit too much air under that for Kasperbauer, but that's kind of what we were talking about earlier with those loud outs.
Yeah.
Big fly ball out to center field. He did get a little bit under it, so it wasn't as much of a line drive as he probably would have liked it to be, but that's still a tough out to take after he barreled that one up.
And this is Mason Minzy at the plate. He takes a strike.
Still hitless, as we talked about, but a walk in his last at-bat got him all the way around to score, so he's seen the bases.
And he's flipped over to the right side to hit. The switch hitter lines this one into shallow center, and it's a base hit for Mason Minzy. His first hit of the series comes from the right side of the plate. Well, we got a chance to speak to Mason earlier this week, and he documented to us about his switch hitting journey. He started switch hitting his freshman year of high school, and then after one season at Wabash Valley decided to just stop switch hitting. And then he didn't have his best season at the plate in his first year at Ohio. First pitch is low for ball one to Alec Patino. And after that season, his first season at Ohio, came back in the fall of 2021 and tried out switch hitting again. And now he is back to switch hitting here in Athens. This is grounded to the right side. Tough play. Seidel comes up with it, and the freshman from shallow right field makes the play to end the inning and get Alec Patino. What a play from Sam Seidel. We head to the top of the fourth inning when we come back. A 10-3 advantage for the Ohio Bobcats, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. We'll be back in a moment on Bobcat TV. All right, we march on to the top of the fourth inning. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh, Sam Hyman. Thanks for being with us on Bobcat TV. Mitchell Hammond remains out on the mound for Ohio. First pitch is a ball. The second pitch is lined into left field, and Gideon Antle makes the play. One up, one down. Leighton Banjoff is retired to begin the top of the fourth inning. And the next batter is Ryan Johnston. Well, we were talking a little bit about the Bobcats and their recent success, trying to get back to their winning ways in the league. Won their third MAC tournament championship in 2017. Their second was in 2015. Had a little bit of a nice run there. For Bowling Green, they haven't won a MAC championship since 2013. As the 0-1 misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. In 2013, they advanced to the NCAA Regionals for the first time since 1999. They've got a good club here in 2023, as we've documented some tough non-conference scheduling. Played a 3-game series against 5th-ranked Louisville. A 1-2 pitch is grounded to the shortstop. Couple of hops for Nick Dolan, and he chucks it over to first. 2 quick outs to start the top of the fourth inning. What do you make of this Bowling Green team after seeing them for about a game and a half or so?
This has got to be one of the teams that really excites you because of all the physical skills they have. The pitchers, we just talked about Rigo Ramos and how he's built like a guy you'd see as a pitcher and how much talent they had. So it's really just about coaching them to get where they need to be with all the things that are teachable, like fielding and hitting and all that kind of stuff. But all the things that aren't teachable, they've got it. So as the season progresses, I would expect this team to get better and better and better and have more and more of a chance to win that MAC championship this year and see if they can't get back to the tournament.
They were picked in 9th, which is a little interesting in the MAC preseason poll, but sometimes you throw that out the window. I saw earlier this week, East Carolina women's basketball, they were picked last in the American, and they won their conference tournament. So it's just about getting right and clicking at the proper time. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Sam Seidel, who has a hit and a walk today. 2-2 is bounced right back to Hammond. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Mitchell Hammond, who is pitching with a 7-run lead. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning after this. A 10-3 advantage for Ohio on Bobcat TV. Will Sturrock leads off the bottom of the 4th inning from Bob Wren Stadium. A 10-3 lead for the Ohio Bobcats in Game 2 of 3 this weekend. Rigo Ramos delivers, and that's fouled off. 0-1. We'll play another 9-inning affair today before these two teams will go their separate ways. Ohio will be back at Bob Wren Stadium next weekend. They do not have a midweek game between now and their Central Michigan series. That misses high, a 1 ball and 1 strike. Bowling Green, meanwhile, they will have sort of an interesting week coming up. They've got 2 games during the midweek at Oakland, and then they host Oakland out of the Horizon League before they hit the road to Akron next weekend.
Yeah, a bit of a weird thing going on in the middle of the week where it's a home and away
Yeah.
against Oakland, but I'm sure that they're going to be very excited to be back up in Northwest Ohio and in Bowling Green to host their first game.
2-2 pitch, and Sturrock fights it off. Yeah, good point. Bowling Green has not played a home game yet this season. Went to Tennessee Tech, Louisville, and Evansville. 2-2 misses low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Rigo Ramos, the 6'5" southpaw, delivers. And the 3-2, a jam shot towards third. Rose bobbles it. No play. And Sturrock is safe at first base. That'll be an error on the third baseman, Nathan Rose. And with nobody out, the batter is Gideon Antle.
Yeah, the slower that ball comes at you, the harder it is to pick it up with your glove. So he tried to run through that one and get it to first as quick as possible because Sturrock was on his horse trying to get down there after a bit of a jam shot. Just wasn't able to get it. Maybe took his eyes off the ball when he was going to throw that one to first, a little bit anticipatory about getting Sturrock out, and it just snuck under his glove.
Antle behind in the count, 0-1. And swings out of his shoes a bit, 0-2 on the junior left fielder. Comes over from Jefferson College, a junior college in Missouri. A wave and a miss, strike 3, and Antle is retired for the first time today. He had a couple of singles to start this game.
Yeah, went down right on 3 pitches. Looked like he was swinging at a couple ones out of the zone. I don't know if he was a little bit giddy about the first 2 singles that he had hit earlier in this game and wanted to go for another one, but he was swinging at all 3 of those pitches, and Ramos made quick work of him.
Check over at first. Sturrock gets back. A 10-3 lead for Ohio here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that fastball misses high. Ball 1.
Another guy in Alex Finney who's yet to be retired so far in this game. A double in his last at-bat, way out to left center field, an absolute rocket, and then a walk in his first at-bat. Both of them in the 2nd inning, too.
Yeah, Ohio batted around in that 2nd inning, scored 8 runs. This offense has a ton of potential. They've already put it on display this season. 2-0 is going to sneak on the top shelf there. Strike 1.
Good hitter's count there for Finney. Not sure he was ready to quite swing out of his shoes on a ball right up out of the zone. Didn't like that one as much as he wanted to in a 2-0 count. Takes another one in there for a strike, so now he's got to be a little bit more on edge about these pitches and not waiting for the perfect one.
Ramos battling back. Southpaw, who did not play last season, has struggled a bit this year. A 4.50 ERA. 2-2, and Finney swings out of his shoes there. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rigo Ramos.
Looked like he got the one that he wanted there on that 2-2 count, and a little too excited about that one. Took his eye off it, maybe looking where he was trying to hit it out there past that 380 marker out in left center field.
Here's Billy Adams as Ramos another snap throw over to first. Billy Adams comes into this game 6 of 28 at the plate, a .214 batting average. 2 hits today, so that'll bump up.
Not too many players on this Ohio team that we can see that isn't having a good day so far today.
Right. Everybody has reached base except for Nick Dolan.
Dolan on deck right now, hoping he can change that in this inning.
And this is hit in
shot.
the air, right center field, and down for extra bases. Billy Adams with a 3-hit afternoon. Here comes Sturrock around third, and he'll score. Billy Adams, have yourself a day. The freshman second baseman with an RBI double. And Ohio leads 11-3.
There it is for Billy Adams. You said have yourself a day. That's 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double. He's seeing the ball very, very well and getting on base all the time. We talked about Nick Dolan now coming up to the plate. Only guy who hasn't reached base so far in this game. And he'll have a chance to change it with a man in scoring position. See if he can extend this lead to 9.
Breaking balls in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. I should say in the turf. There's technically no dirt on home plate.
Yeah, a bit of a different field than you normally see. Turf a little bit tougher to play on. I wouldn't say tougher to play on, just different to play on. So when you come here and visit as the Falcons are, it's different from what you've been playing on before. And OU obviously has had so many away games that they might not quite be used to the turf, although this would be where they practice.
1 ball and 1 strike to Nick Dolan. And that bounces away from the catcher, Gurney. But Adams stays at second. Billy Adams, by the way, is the only freshman in the starting lineup for Ohio.
And we saw yesterday why he's in the lineup, making a great catch out in shallow right field.
Yep.
Off of a hot fly that he was able to get an easy out, or not an easy out on, but a tough out on, and made it look fairly easy, though.
1-2 pitch. Dolan, check swing, did go around, so that is strike 3. So Rigo Ramos picks up 3 strikeouts in the inning, does give up another run. 11-3, Bobcats in front as we move to the 5th on Bobcat TV. As we move on to the 5th inning here in our first game of 2 today, we've got a new pitcher on the mound for the Ohio Bobcats. Dylan Masters, the 6'3" sophomore from New Albany, Ohio, takes over for Mitchell Hammond to begin the top of the 5th inning. And the first pitch misses outside for ball 1. So far this season, Dylan Masters has appeared in 3 games. Tough start to the season, a 13.50 ERA with 3 earned runs in just 2 innings of work.
Another guy who transferred, not from a JUCO school, but he went to Murray State before he came here to OU.
A racer. Murray State Racers. Nathan Archer is at the plate, fouls that one back. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Archer was hitless yesterday. He's got a sacrifice fly, RBI, and a bunt single to his name today. Highly touted prospect, according to Kyle Halleck, the 3rd-year head coach for Bowling Green. Haven't talked much about Kyle Halleck's journey. We'll get into that. He was the youngest coach in the country as Archer fouls this one off. He was the youngest coach in the country during his first season at Bowling Green in 2021. He was 32 years old in 2021. I think one of the questions that Uzak asked Kyle was, do you feel a sense of urgency, pressure, anything like that? As this is hit off the mound and deflects to Dolan. He's got no play. And so Archer is aboard. You asked him about that, and he said there's no pressure, but there's kind of a sense of urgency. I remember him bringing that up.
Yeah, it's tough, I would assume, to be such a young coach, because he said that there wasn't too much pressure from around him, from people inside the organization, from the players and the coaches, but I feel like you might feel a little bit of pressure yourself to try and prove yourself, to try and cement yourself as a big-time head coach at a level like that, because a lot of people are going to be looking at you, and they're going to see that age and maybe not think as much of you as they should without knowing you at all. So maybe a chance for him to really show everybody that he is a guy that can do it at this level and do it at a high level.
And this is grounded towards the shortstop. Dolan flips to the second baseman. Adams for 1. Relay to first. Easy work. 6-4-3 double play. And there are 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning. Great job by Dylan Masters out there on the mound inducing that double play ball. First double play we've seen in this series. And Nathan Rose will come to the plate. And well, Coach Halleck also went on to say that it's not a marathon. He's learned since taking over this Bowling Green program as the head coach. It's not a marathon, or it is a marathon, excuse me. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Quickly in the hole, 0-2 is Nathan Rose.
Yeah, and this is a team that, as we talked about earlier, he's going to be able to mold a very talented physical team that's going to have to go through a little bit more learning as a strikeout happens right there.
And how about the energy from Dylan Masters? He's fired up. 1-2-3 inning for the Southpaw, pitching with a lot of run support. 11-3 lead for Ohio, charged up as they head into the dugout. The Bobcats looking sharp here in Game 2 of our 3-game set on Bobcat TV.
There it is.
All right, we move on to the bottom of the 5th inning from Bob Wren Stadium. Alongside Zach Mothersbaugh, I'm Sam Hyman. Glad you're with us here on Bobcat TV. New pitcher on the mound is Isaiah Seidel, a 6'2 right-hander. And he fires a first pitch fastball low for ball 1. Well, this is the first appearance of the season for Isaiah Seidel. And that fastball hits the top of the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Rigo Ramos lasts not even 3 innings out of the bullpen. 1-1 pitch, a nasty slider there from Seidel. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Seidel, of course, the brother of Bowling Green's leadoff hitter today in Sam Seidel.
This is poked foul. And the older brother, Seidel Isaiah, is a junior. He appeared in 15 games out of the bullpen last season, a 9.08 ERA. 0-2 waved at him, missed, strike 3. A.J. Roush is retired. Good start out of the pen for Seidel.
And Isaiah Seidel got a bit of a funkier release than you normally see. It's a little bit more sidearm, allows for him to throw better breaking balls, and that's what he used to get A.J. Roush to strike out. See a lot more movement from your left to your right, as you can see on the screen for Seidel. With this release that he has, it's a little bit, maybe 3/4, maybe a little lower.
This is bounced towards his brother, Sam Seidel, who throws out Casper Bauer, and there are 2 quick outs. So the final line for Bowling Green's first two pitchers, Tyler Hayes, the starter, only went an inning and a third through 44 pitches, 5 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. Rigo Ramos, 2 2/3 innings. His final line is Seidel throws a first pitch strike to Mason Minzy. Oh, 1 pitch hits the top of the strike zone. 0-2.
It's been a great start to this inning so far for Seidel. You talked about his first appearance so far this season, and looks like he's been pitching all year.
Yeah, really looks comfortable. Off speed, locks up Minzy for strike 3. So how about the 2023 debut for Isaiah Seidel out of the bullpen? 3 up, 3 down. We move to the top of the 6th inning after this. 11-3 lead for the Bobcats on Bobcat TV. Back at Bob Brennan Stadium as we march on to the top of the 6th inning. Adam Follen leads off for the Falcons. Back with Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman. Game 1 of 2 today. Final 2 games of this series. As the first pitch is in there on the outside corner for strike 1. Dylan Masters worked a 1-2-3 5th inning. Pitching with massive lead right now as this is dribbled to Billy Adams at second, and he throws over to first in time. 1 up, 1 down. As we were just talking off the air a moment ago, Zach, about some of the other games going on across the Mid-American Conference. Eastern Michigan is in front 6-0 in the 3rd against Akron. Northern Illinois is battling Kent State right now, and it's a 6-4 lead for Kent State in the 4th inning. Toledo is playing Miami of Ohio right now in the top of the 3rd inning. Miami leads 2-0 over the Toledo Rockets. And then the other team that is in action today, Central Michigan, the Chippewas, with a late start as this is popped up first base side. Billy Adams runs over in foul ground, and he makes the play for out number 2. Central Michigan will have a 7 p.m. first pitch tonight against Sacramento State out west, or the Chippewas, the 3-time defending MAC tournament champions.
Yeah, we went through what the Chippewas are facing so far this season. 2 straight series in Texas. Then they headed up to California to play St. Mary, San Jose State, and now Sacramento State, as you talked about. So they haven't even been close to home for a bit of a time now, and that 7 p.m. start's a bit of 4 p.m. start for them out there in California.
Yep, and they'll be Ohio's next opponent next weekend here at Bob Brennan Stadium.
It'll be an away game here at Bob Brennan, as you just talked about, but it'll be basically a home game based on where they've been so far this season. It'll be much closer than they've been in the early parts of the season.
Jack Krause at the plate for Bowling Green. He's 1 for 2 today. 3-0 is on the inside corner, a called strike, 3-1. Dylan Masters working quickly and fires that one outside for ball 4. So that'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Leighton Banjoff, senior first baseman who transferred from Nebraska, which is where Craig Moore played his college ball. Ohio's head coach. First pitch misses high for ball 1.
Masters was really feeling the energy after that strikeout in his last inning. Comes back out here and gets 2 quick outs, but he's been a little bit out of the zone recently as he puts that one back in for a strike, now a 1-1 count. But looking to get back to where he was in that last inning as he was yelling all the way from the mound to the dugout, it seemed like, after that strikeout.
Oh, yeah. A lot of energy from Dylan Masters. And rightfully so. He's had an up-and-down start to the season.
Yeah, both of these teams have a lot of fun, and you see that a lot in college baseball where big bond between these teams, and they have a lot of things ready for when they do a good thing and they can celebrate in the dugout or wherever.
"3-1 is cranked foul down the left field line. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Leighton Banjoff. There goes the runner, and doesn't matter. Called strike 3. So Dylan Masters with 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen, protecting this 11-3 advantage for Ohio as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning next on Bobcat TV. Alec Patino leads off the bottom of the 6th inning from Bob Wren Stadium alongside Zach Mothersbaugh. I'm Sam Hyman, live on Bobcat TV for Game 2 of our 3-game series. Isaiah Seidel throws the first pitch, and it's bounced towards the second baseman, Sam Seidel, and he throws out Alec Patino. 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the home half of the 6th inning.
And Isaiah Seidel has gotten in quite the rhythm, as we talked about before, and now 1 pitch into his second inning of pitching so far in this game, and it's another out. So he's really got to be in a rhythm. He's really got to be feeling it, and he's got to be comfortable out there on the mound.
Will Sturrock takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Yeah, for a guy that has not pitched this season until today, has looked very sharp. Looks like he has pitched this season.
Absolutely, it does. That one goes in there for a strike.
It's a nasty slider there. A 1-1 is fouled off to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And if Bowling Green's going to want to get back into this game right now, down 8 runs after putting up a couple of 0 spots, it's going to have to be via their pitching. They really can't allow another run in this game if they want to get back into it. Not only can they not let the lead get any bigger, but they can't let that energy go back to the Bobcats. They're going to have to take all of that momentum if they want to get down from an 8-run deficit.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Will Sturrock. been on base 3 different times in this game in 3 different ways. He reached on an error, a walk, and a single. The payoff. Up and in, ball 4. And that is going to bring up Gideon Antle, the junior left fielder.
They're going 0 for 4 last game. Antle 2 for 3 right now with 2 singles. So feeling a little better so far on this Saturday.
Yeah, 2 RBIs as well for Antle. And he pulls this one towards third. Rose throws to second for 1. Relay turn to first. Double play. 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. So Isaiah Seidel has faced the minimum through 2 innings of work. We go to the 7th after this. An 8-run advantage for the Ohio Bobcats on Bobcat TV. Back at Bob Wren Stadium, as Dylan Masters throws the first pitch, and it's bounced towards the shortstop. Tough play. Nick Dolan chucks it to first in time. Good play from the redshirt sophomore. 1 pitch, 1 out as Ryan Johnston is retired. And that'll turn the lineup over for Bowling Green. Sam Seidel stands in. How about Dylan Masters here out of the bullpen? He has not allowed a run and has really not been in any troublesome spots yet.
Yeah, after the start of this game, that's not really what you expected from any of the pitchers in this contest so far. But Dylan Masters able to calm it down for the Bobcats and really take control of this game from the pitcher's mound.
Quickly 0-2.
Helps a lot when you get plays like they just made from Nick Dolan.
And that just misses outside. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's nubbed towards third. Casper Bauer gobbles it up, chucks it to first. 2 quick outs to start the top of the 7th inning. We mentioned Dylan Masters, the southpaw, 6'3", 210 pounds from New Albany, Ohio. And talked about how he transferred from Missouri State. And that connects on the outside corner for a called strike.
And as you talked about, not really in any dangerous situations. And both of the outs that he's gotten so far in this inning, as that one gets flared out to shallow right field, and it will drop.
And Archer stumbles in between first and second base, and he is tagged out.
I think he ran into the umpire because you see him looking at the umpire right now in between first and second. That's what he's saying. He's saying that he was in the base path and he couldn't get a quick or an easy trip to second. They're holding up the game and he's not moving from second base.
Yeah, we're gonna get potentially a discussion here, and Kyle Halleck, the Bowling Green head coach, wants to verify and sure up some things before the Falcons take the field. They're not taking the field just yet, and Archer is out there. Now the umpires may collectively come together to discuss this.
Yeah, Archer really upset. That was an aggressive move he made, trying to go from first to second on what looked like it was just going to be a single. And I looked back after seeing the ball, and all of a sudden I saw Archer bouncing off the umpire.
And it's not going to be a review. They're going to stand by the call. So we'll step aside and move to the bottom of the 7th inning. A 1-2-3 frame for Dylan Masters out there on the mound. We'll be back in a moment on Bobcat. New pitcher for Bowling Green is Perry Miller, 6-foot freshman from Avon Lake, Ohio. Takes over and will make his second appearance of the season. And he fires a first pitch strike on the outside corner to Alex Finney. Count is 0-1. An 11-3 lead for the Bobcats as Finney lofts this one in the air to center. Archer makes the play for out number 1. So Perry Miller is the 4th pitcher used today for Bowling Green. He first appeared in the Evansville series, 2 innings, allowed 2 runs in his Falcon debut.
Yeah, he talked about Miller coming from Avon Lake. May 7th of 2021, he tossed a no-hitter for Avon Lake High School. So he's no stranger to big-time situations.
And this is knocked into center field. Billy Adams is 4 for 4 out of the 8 spot.
He's seen the ball very well. A lot of good knocks and a double to go with all those singles. No matter who's the pitcher, you talk about how this is their 4th pitcher, and nobody, not a single one of them, has been able to get Billy Adams out today. He's seen everything that you can throw at him.
That settles in right down the middle for a called strike on Nick Dolan, the only Bobcat that has not reached base today. That buzzes up and in, ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. Yesterday's game was tight from the jump. Bowling Green squeaked out a 5-4 victory over the Bobcats. This a much different story. It's been all Ohio since that 8-run second inning. Yesterday's game, Falcons pitching staff, just 2 pitchers used, 8 strikeouts, 0 walks. Just the second time this season Bowling Green pitching has not issued a walk. As Dolan knocks this one in the air to left field. Playable, though, shy of the warning track. Adam Follen makes the catch, and there are 2 away in the home half of the 7th.
Yeah, it seemed like every time one of the teams made a move to get out in front in yesterday's game, it was matched by the other team, ending up in just a one-run contest when Ohio couldn't match the home run for Bowling Green. But today, Ohio put that 8 spot up in the second inning, and it's been all of them ever since. There was never a shot to match it for the Falcons.
Snap throw over to first. Adams is back safely. A.J. Roush back at the plate for Ohio. 0 for 3 today. Takes high, 1 ball, no strikes. Yesterday for Ohio, their offense came pretty much solely from Alec Patino. 2 home runs. There goes Billy Adams. It's a called strike. Throw down to second is on the money. What a dart from Kyle Gurney. That's something Kyle Halleck, the head coach of Bowling Green, has said Gurney has worked on, and he looked locked in right there. Really impressive throw to end the bottom of the 7th inning. We move to the top of the 8th right after this on Bobcat TV. New pitcher on the mound for the Ohio Bobcats is Tyler Peck, the sophomore, 6'2", 215 pounds from Oak Creek, Wisconsin. He's the 3rd pitcher used today for Craig Moore's team as we welcome you back to Bob Wren Stadium. Ohio in cruise control, up 11-3 over Bowling Green in Game 2 of our 3-game series. Kyle Gurney, senior catcher at the plate for the Falcons. And he knocks this one on the ground towards short. Nick Dolan gobbles it up, and that is quickly 1 away in the top of the 8th inning. Gurney did make a great play, though, Zach, defensively to end the bottom of the 7th. That's one thing that Kyle Halleck, the head coach of Bowling Green, told us earlier in the week is that Kyle Gurney has worked tirelessly on his defense. He said the biggest area of growth from last year to this year is his defense behind home plate, especially receiving the baseball, and his pop time, meaning the time it takes for him to receive it and then throw down to second base. It's improved drastically.
Yeah, he made everything that he did look easy on that throw out. Perfect throw. Talked about his pop time. It was fantastic. And guys able to get a guy that you talked about is not a slow guy out, and it made it look easy too.
First pitch outside to Nathan Rose. Tyler Peck is making his 5th appearance of the season for the Bobcats. 1 ball and 1 strike to Nathan Rose. He last pitched earlier this week against Kentucky through 1 inning. And we do have a pinch hitter for Bowling Green. Mason Montgomery is replacing Nathan Rose out of the 4 spot for Bowling Green. Rose finishes the day 0 for 3 as Montgomery skies this one in the air to right field, shy of the warning track. Will Sturrock makes the play for out number 2. And that will bring up another pinch hitter. Gavin Ganun will step to the plate. He is 0 for 4 this season, limited playing time, just 4 games. That misses low for ball 1. How about the performance from Dylan Masters, though, Zach, out of the bullpen for the Bobcats? Looked very sharp in his innings of work. His final line, 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts through 36 pitches. Murray State transfer looked impressive.
Yeah, 36 pitches in 3 innings is not even exactly where you want to be. It's better than where you want to be. And only allowing 2 hits, he really took control of this game, and that's why the Bobcats having a lot of run in so many innings. Is their pitching after that, for those first couple of innings, after just that top of the 2nd inning, they were really able to take control, and now this game is firmly in their hands so far.
Yeah, it was that 8-run 2nd inning that really skyrocketed Ohio in front. Here's a ground ball sent to the shortstop. Nick Dolan gobbles it up, throws to first, and a 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Peck out of the bullpen as the Bobcats take an 11-3 lead heading into the bottom of the 8th inning. Ohio looking to snap a 5-game losing streak and pick up its first MAC win of the season. We'll be back in a moment on Bobcat TV. All right, new pitcher on the mound for the Bowling Green Falcons to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Jacob Turner delivers, and the first pitch is hammered. A.J. Rouse takes it to center field, but right at Nathan Archer, and that is 1 pitch, 1 out to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Another defensive change, a couple of defensive changes for the Bowling Green Falcons. Mason Montgomery is at 3rd base. He takes the place of Nathan Rose. And Cooper McKenzie is the new catcher as Colin Kasperbauer zaps this one into left field. It's a 2-hit day for Kasperbauer, and that'll bring up Mason Minzy.
Yeah, talking about Jacob Turner, their new pitcher so far for the Falcons. We were talking about how resumes for the other guys, the Bo Jackson elites, but Jacob Turner's got a big time resume himself. He was ranked the number 9 right-handed pitcher in Michigan by Prep Report Baseball for his class of 2022, and he was in the Prep Report Baseball Futures game and the MHS BCA All-Star Game selection. So this guy was a big time high school player looking to prove it at the college ranks, and we've seen so much of that so far for Bowling Green, just guys who were fantastic in high school and they've got up here. And Jacob Turner, a freshman, so this is his first year to prove it, as that one's fouled off to the left side. We'll see what he can do so far.
Yeah, it's in an opportunity. Team is behind by 8, but still there's plenty of things to do out there on the mound in terms of trying to impress your coaching staff with what you're capable of. He's got a very quick delivery, too, which is a good thing when it comes to when runners are on base. You want to have that quick side step to the plate. That limits the amount of time it takes for the ball to get to the plate, as that one connects right down the middle for a called strike.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those guys we talked about earlier, Bowling Green's run to the MAC tournament so far this year, and this is going to be one of those guys that he's going to have to develop as the season gets on. He's got an 11.57 ERA in the tough games they played early in this season, so he's going to want to bring that way down, because this guy, not just this year, but in the future, they're going to depend on him to be a big-time guy out of their bullpen, or maybe a starter if that's what he ends up being later on in his career.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Mason Minzy. And Minzy with a good swing out to left center field in the air, and Archer tracks it down for out number 2. Minzy's hit the ball hard a couple of times. He is 1 for 4 today with a walk. Better than a hitless day yesterday, and that'll bring up Alec Patino, the junior first baseman, with 2 RBIs in this game, 5 in the series. And he waves through the off speed for strike 1. A reminder, we will have the second game of our doubleheader today, approximately 30-40 minutes after the conclusion of this game. 0-1 pitch is a cue shot rolling towards third. Montgomery has no play over there. It'll be an infield single for Alec Patino.
Back to that same 2 for 4 today that he had yesterday. Not quite the power out of that 2 for 4 so far today, but everything you've wanted him to do. He's got a double. He's got now this single that I'm assuming that they're gonna label that a single because that's a tough play for the third baseman, and a sac fly in that big time second inning.
Will Sturrock swings at the first pitch and bounces it to the shortstop. Johnston, quick delivery to second to end the inning. So that'll do it for the bottom of the 8th. Ohio is 3 outs away from snapping a 5-game losing streak and picking up its first win in MAC play this season. Come back and join us for the top of the 9th after this on Bobcat TV. Last chance for Bowling Green. They are down 11-3 here as we start the top of the 9th inning. Anthony Toma is the pinch hitter, and he swings and launches it high in the air to right field. And playable for Will Sturck, and that is 1 pitch, 1 out to start the top of the 9th inning with Tyler Peck still out there for Ohio. A second inning of work. He worked a 1-2-3-8.
Yeah, not too shocking that Peck's out here for the 9th inning because, you know, they're up 8 runs and not too much of an emergency right now, so you don't want to take another pitcher out of the pen. Peck had a good inning in the 8th inning, so let him just ride it out for the 9th inning and see if you can get out of this game with a victory.
Ohio is in the driver's seat, 2 outs away with an 8-run lead. And that one is down and in for a ball. Two balls and no strikes. Jack Krause grounds it towards second. Billy Adams dives, comes up with it, and throws wide of the first base bag. Krause is safe at first. So there's 1 on with 1 out.
Yeah, Adams doesn't seem too happy with himself right now, and expectedly so. He slid to get that ball, and then he had to do a full 360 to throw it to first, but sped it up a little bit and kept it outside to his throwing hand side.
Freshman DJ Newman pinch hitting for Leighton Banjoff. That's inside for ball 1. DJ Newman looking for his first hit of the season. Pardon me, his second hit of the season in limited action, just his 6th game. He's 1 of 3 at the plate.
If I'm not mistaken, for DJ Newman, it looks like he's a guy who gets to the mound, too.
Yep.
He's got a 13.5 ERA on the mound. Not exactly where you'd like it as he shoots that one up the middle, but didn't get quite all of it.
Dolan for 1. The return to first not in time. Nice job. That was, like you mentioned, not hit as hard, so that gave Nick Dolan some time to get behind the second base bag, make that play. And Ohio is 1 out away from its first MAC win of the season.
Tell how hungry they were for this one. That bottom of the second inning was big time for them, obviously, as you can see, but they were very hungry for this. They were very excited about all the things that they were able to do.
Popped
the strikeouts.
Up, third base side, and the third baseman, Colin Kasperbauer, has enough room, a tough angle, and he makes the play to end the ball game. So that will do it. Ohio snaps a 5-game losing streak and picks up its first MAC win of the season. We'll play one more game right after this one. It's concluded, so that means in about 30-40 minutes we'll have first pitch of game. TV, Zach, your final thoughts from this first game?
Yeah, it was a big-time win for the Bobcats. You talked about snapping that losing streak that they needed to snap. But after a tough game yesterday against Bowling Green, where it looked like it might have been the same thing, Bowling Green with that 3 spot in the top of the second inning was the same way that they were able to score runs yesterday. Put the ball on the ground, get on base, take advantage of Ohio's errors, and get all the way around to home because of that speed. But after Ohio had that 8-run spot in the bottom of the second, it gave them so much momentum that every time they started, that all the pitchers that came up after that, even Hammond, who came up after giving up the 3 spot in the second inning, in the third inning was able to shut him out. And every relief pitcher after that did just a fantastic job. There weren't too many errors that was really hurting them so far this season, and they were able to take advantage of that and win this game 11-3.
All right, that does it for us for game number 1 in the books. Ohio wins it 11-3. Stick with us, though, and come back for game 2 of our doubleheader, game 3 of the series, the rubber match. Don't go anywhere. You've been watching MACtion on Bobcat TV.